On November 15, 2020, a free trade agreement called the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, was signed. It was a pact that would become the world's largest ever, comprising 30% of the world's GDP and population, and it would majority include the nations from East Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific countries. But what makes this agreement so important is its key in making the ASEAN nation economies grow much higher. The entire RCEP membership gross domestic product is projected to triple by 2050 to $100 trillion from the current $30 trillion today. So how can just a free trade agreement push the entire Southeast Asian region to a level never seen before? Well, before we move on, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe for more. It was in the later months of 2011, during the 19th ASEAN Summit that is occasionally held every year for Southeast Asian members, that RCEP was endorsed, but in the past few years, a trade agreement was already being talked about. It was only that year that the RCEP came to be. Throughout the later years from 2012 to the day it was ratified, there were several talks and negotiations about how this new agreement would become. After all, it included the biggest region in the entire world, which would end up being called the ASEAN Plus 6. And even despite the COVID-19 pandemic, meetings were still going on. And to many surprises, the official signing ceremony was actually held online. By the first day of 2022, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership began. This partnership would mean a lot of things, but the most important factor that would ultimately benefit the ASEAN countries, and might as well be the Plus 6, is obviously the goods up for trading. These goods can very much vary country by country, but one thing is for sure, that these goods will reap a ton of benefits, mainly due to easier and cheaper transfers. First of all, the RCEP treaty would remove tariffs of as much as 90%. Customs procedures, inspections, and quarantine of goods will ultimately enhance the flow of each good. Protection in each country is also very much indicated. This would mean that the trades will give every business a fair chance on participating through proper competition, intellectual property, and investments. These are just some of the guidelines and benefits that aim to tackle the challenges and aims to encourage economic development within the partnership. Quantitatively, a report was published by Brookings Institute found that we will see an increase of $209 billion annually, along with $500 billion to the world trade in just the next decade, by 2030. Specifically, Southeast Asia will receive an estimated $19 billion annually through the same timeline. This is because of the fact that Southeast Asia will now become more independent from the Western countries and rely more on technologies, agriculture, minerals, and so on with its East Asian counterparts. Moreover, we think that this will also bring a vast amount of investment potential to ASEAN. As the region is already ripe for growth, this treaty would further enhance the opportunity for investors to see a brighter future ahead. With now easier transportation access, investors will be even more attracted to investing in the region versus elsewhere. Furthermore, this will also encourage China, South Korea, and Japan, three of which are rising foreign investors within the region, which will further enhance the independence and presence of Asian to Asian country relations. The most important factor that we loved about this is what Malaysia's Minister Mohammed Azmin Ali said: it would encourage local businesses to go global. This statement alone will change everything for local businesses. Local firms, even the big ones, are having a hard time expanding abroad, with different rules, regulations, and perceptions of goods from people. All of these are a hurdle for local firms. With RCEP, however, things may start to change. There are obviously some downsides to this agreement, but that downside does not even belong to the region. It hails all the way to the west, a country called the United States of America. Well, why? Because it is the largest trade in the history of mankind, yet the largest country in the entire world in terms of GDP is not included. This may indicate that the time for Asian nations is shining and that the Western countries have little time left to be left behind. But overall, the opportunities of RCEP are just the beginning. These will all eventually evolve into a much larger and favorably economic activator in the future.